It's back. Well, it just will not leave us. It will not go away. And what can I say? We have another variant, and it's actually been around for a couple months, but it's starting to become more prevalent across the United States. In fact, it represents over 85% of the new COVID cases that are coming out. And in reference to the Carnival Spirit, which recently had over 100 passengers that were COVID positive on their cruise. The name of this variant comes from the Omicron variant, which is stealth. So it's a variant of a variant, and the Omicron stealth virus, or COVID virus, is wreaking havoc, and it's starting to spread across the United States in increasing numbers. And should this be something that brings you pause and makes you consider not going on that cruise that you might have planned, well, let's talk about it right after this.
I just can't get away from a good time.
Okay, so what have we gone through with this whole COVID, right, in relation to cruising? Well, I mean, we went almost 2 years without cruising, right? And for us avid cruisers, that was so painful that we couldn't get out and enjoy exploring the world on a cruise ship, right? To sit out in that ocean air blowing by you, to look at the back of the ship, see that wake while you're enjoying a drink, to meet new friends, everything else like that. That was all taken away from us for like 2 years and made us just appreciate how much we loved cruising. And then we finally, after what seemed like forever, got to enjoy cruising again just as recently as July of last year. That's when this channel started. The Coach Cruise channel started in July when cruising restarted. And in that month of July, we got to enjoy cruising pretty much like it always was, at least while we were on the ship. We didn't have to wear a mask. Remember those Carnival cruisers out there when John Heald said, you have your mask on in the terminal or whatever, and you walk up the ramp, and before you board the ship, you take off your mask and go, whoopee! Well, we did all that. And then what happened shortly after that? They said, you know what? COVID cases are starting to spread. You have to wear a mask indoor on the ships. I remember because I had experienced, the 3 weeks of cruising without a mask. And then, a couple weeks later, they said you were going to have to wear a mask. And I thought about canceling. I really did. Turned out to be not that big of a deal. But, where are we headed? Where are we headed? Because the reason I bring that up is because what's just happened? Well, masks have become optional on cruise ships, okay, across the industry. And I mean, most people love that, right? The cruise that I did most recently here just last month in April, this is being filmed May 10th of 2022. But just in April, I was on the Carnival Glory, and I would say probably 98% of the passengers took advantage of the optional part of wearing masks and didn't wear masks. And, for the most part, everybody was very happy. Now, my wife, Anita, she got sick on our most recent cruise. And you know what? I'm curious whether it might have been COVID or not. I don't know. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. But it's going around. And now COVID, and many people say this, right, that it's just like a cold, okay? And when I had COVID, that was pretty accurate. It was just like a cold. In fact, I didn't think there was any way I had COVID. I had a little bit of a runny nose. And for those of you that don't know or are new to the Coach Cruise channel, we had a New Year's Eve cruise booked on the Carnival Pride. And come to find out on Christmas Eve that I had COVID. And like I said, I just had a little bit of a runny nose. Otherwise, I felt pretty good. And, it ran its course or whatever. I recovered no problem, thank God. And I am fully vaccinated, I'm boosted, everything else like that. So, I have all that going for me. But, anyway, it's back. It's back. We have another variant coming around. It's called the Omicron. It's a stealth is the name. Stealth comes from the Omicron variant, and it's of the new COVID cases throughout the United States, as of just a couple days ago from my research, 85% of those cases are from the stealth variant. All right, so how does this concern us? Where are we going from here? Will we have to wear masks in the future? Well, okay, the reason this concerns me is, look, we started out July last year, right? And we started cruising and no mask anywhere. And then by August, we were wearing masks inside of cruise ships. Now, this, variant, just in my region, as I mentioned earlier, in the Chicagoland area, we went from low risk to medium risk. And what they advise with medium risk is that, you should be wearing your mask indoors. That's their, advising. It went from, it's optional, low risk, whatever, to now you should wear them indoors. We're not making you, it's not a law, or they're not enforcing it, but it's highly suggested. Okay. For those you don't know, I'm a high school teacher, and I've just received emails today regarding, that somebody was on our building with COVID, and they're, sending out emails to all the parents, letting them know, hey, we've had positive COVID cases within the building, things like that. Now, here's the thing. I already mentioned that I had COVID, and, that I really wasn't too concerned about it because, I'm vaccinated, boosted, everything. So I feel good about that. But I mentioned that in a video a couple days ago. And then, I did more research because, I said, look, my opinion is my own, and how I feel about something is not necessarily how you feel about something, nor should you, feel anyway, but how you feel, right? Now, here's the research that I uncovered. Okay, during the Omicron wave that went through February, all right, there were a high percentage of people that were fully vaccinated that died, fully vaccinated, and I was under the impression all this time, and maybe the news leads to that impression, whatever, that basically, if you're fully vaccinated, you were going to be safe for the most part. It would be very rare for somebody fully vaccinated to die from COVID. But after doing more research, I found out that is not the case. And let me give you those numbers right now. So, in September of 2021, 0% of the people that were boosted perished. Okay, 23% that were fully vaccinated died of the 100% of the people who perished due to COVID. 23% of those people were fully vaccinated in September. In October, 1% of the people that were boosted perished. 25% that were fully vaccinated, in other words, fully vaccinated but not boosted, and 74% that were unvaccinated or died as a result of COVID. Now we move into November 2021. 2% of the people that are fully vaccinated and boosted died from COVID. 26% that were fully vaccinated but not boosted perished, and 72% that were not vaccinated died from COVID. In December, 5% of the people that died, 1 in 20, were fully vaccinated and boosted. Okay, 24% were fully vaccinated, and then 71% were not vaccinated. Now, here's where it really seemed crazy to me, okay? Because, again, I thought the vaccinations and everything were just going to work. In January, 12% of the people that perished were fully vaccinated and boosted. 30% were fully vaccinated. And then 58% were not vaccinated. Okay? And then finally, in February, 15% of the people who perished as a result of COVID were fully vaccinated and boosted. 25% were just fully vaccinated, and 60% were not vaccinated. So, I mean, if you look at those last 2 months, January and February, it was about a 60-40 split. I mean, 60% of the people that were unvaccinated, amongst those who perished because of COVID, were, unvaccinated. And then about 40% were vaccinated, and many of those were fully boosted as well. And if you remember in the news, what had come along is that they advised people 50 years and older could get a second booster, because what they learned from the science is that, over time, that those boosters, the power in those, the boosting shot, whatever, it diminishes. And that's why they were advising people 50 years and older to get a second booster shot. Because if you notice, like I said, early on, it was 0%, then 1%, then 2% of the people that fully boosted. And then it jumped all the way up to 12 and 15%. So amongst people, and now here's where we get into, what category this applies to. Nearly 2/3 of the people who died during the Omicron surge were 75 or older. Nearly 2/3. Far larger majority of those deaths, according to the CDC, were vaccine holdouts. The bulk of vaccinated deaths are among people who did not get a booster shot, according to the state data provided to the Washington Post. In 2 of the states, California and Mississippi, 3/4 of the vaccinated senior citizens who died in January and February did not have booster doses. Regulators in recent weeks have authorized second booster doses for people over the age of 50. Okay, and then a quote from one of the doctors: "Vaccines are one of the most important and long-lasting tools we have to protect ourselves," said California State epidemiologist Erica Pan, citing state estimates showing vaccines have shown to be 85% effective in preventing death. Unfortunately, that does leave another 15, she said. Okay, now that gets me into the next story, in which, again, I've been, a proponent of vaccinations, and for somebody my age, again, I'm under 50, so, I'm at a lot lower risk. But what I've learned from this research is, if you are 75 or older, you can be fully vaccinated, even boosted. The risk is much, much higher. It really is. And in terms of deaths and things like that, and especially if you have some underlying conditions, it could be risky. So, and again, that doesn't mean to say that somebody that's 35 years old couldn't pass away from COVID that's fully boosted or anything like that. But, the odds say that that's probably not going to happen. I mean, the odds say, honestly, that if you're 75 and older and you're of pretty good health, the odds are it's probably not going to happen. The percentages are pretty low. It's just that you are in a much higher risk category in terms of passing away from COVID. If you are 75 years of older, even if you're fully vaccinated and boosted, it is a concern. And again, don't take advice from somebody like me. Do your own research. Research, multiple, talk to, your doctors, everything else like that, and before you consider going on a cruise. Like I said, I would feel terrible if anybody thought, well, hey, coach, isn't worried about it, and whatever, I'm going to go on a cruise and then find out somebody passed away. Now, here's something else. And more research I did. It's just a couple days ago, New York had approximately 1,900 cases of people that were confirmed positive COVID and had been hospitalized and everything else like that. One person passed away. One out of 1,900. Okay, so again, the odds are extremely low. And I know some people are out there like, hey, I'm going to live my life and nobody's going to stop me. And hey, again, that is you. That is you, absolutely 100%. And I endorse everybody, living their life to the fullest and not letting things, slow you down or whatever else like that. But I'm just saying, for those people, especially those of you out there that are 75 and older, do your research, do your homework, everything else. Make sure you feel confident and comfortable when you go out on your cruise, that everything's going to turn out, that, you're going to come back happy, healthy, everything else like that. We've all of us avid cruisers, we've probably all gotten sick at one point or another on a cruise ship to some little bug that was going around. And, you know, usually it's not a big deal, and we take our vitamin C and everything else, and we're just fine. But, you know, obviously COVID can be a much bigger deal for some, especially in those high risk categories. So that's all I have for you, except I wanted to finish with the story. And this gentleman is an example of kind of what I'm talking about, just to put this all in perspective. And this story starts off with the wife, Ariana Bennett, recall her husband Scott Bennett saying, but I'm vaxxed, from the DC hospital bed where he struggled to fight off COVID this past winter. A fever-stricken Bennett limped into the hospital alongside his wife, who was also infected a week before Christmas. He died January 13th, among the 125,000 Americans who succumbed to COVID-19 in January and February. He was absolutely shocked. He did not expect to be sick. He really thought he was safe, Ariana Bennett recalled. And I'm like, but baby, you've got to wear the mask all the time, up over your nose. Now, you know, the thing, and to expand on this story just a little bit, this gentleman, you know, was athletic, you know, did bike riding, you know, for somebody that was 70 or older, seemed to be, you know, the picture of really good health. And he was fully vaccinated and just had recently gotten boosted. And, you know, they went on to say they don't know if the booster shot would have taken effect yet by then, but COVID got him. And again, those of you that have been with us for a long time, you know that COVID has gotten a couple of my dear friends. You know, in those cases, they weren't vaccinated, unfortunately. And I don't know if that would have made a difference, but, you know, it's just very, very sad. So again, come to your own decisions, do your own research. But I just wanted to put that out there, you know, for a thought, you know, to make sure that you're absolutely sure. And let me know what you think in the comments, because I think, you know, cruising could be headed for some changes, unfortunately, because of this darn stealth variant. I mean, if it continues to spread and grows in the numbers that it has been recently, maybe we're being forced to wear a mask again on the cruise ship. Hopefully not. We've returned to 100% on the 100% capacity on a lot of ships. That's great news, especially for the cruise industry, right? But what happens if, again, you know, we get an outbreak like we recently had on the Carnival Spirit? Do they start limiting the capacity of the ships again? Because maybe they have to secure, you know, a wing of one floor for people that potentially, you know, get COVID while on the ship. And they have to, you know, save that wing for those people that could possibly become sick. We don't know what's going to happen. Let's hope, let's pray that, you know, the variant just kind of goes away and, you know, kind of, I don't know, just with the hot summer weather or whatever, doesn't take hold the way some of these variants have. Let's hope anyway, right? But that's about all I have for you today. I did want to end with our final of the last two videos I've done. I had mentioned that Norwegian is sponsoring a teacher appreciation where they give away 100 cruises to teachers that are highly respected in their states all across the nation. And you get a chance to vote on those teachers and who you think is deserving of a free cruise. Now, I have already mentioned one Rachel Basden. I have also already mentioned a Michelle Haybert. And today is the third of the final that I'm going to mention in regards to this contest on Norwegian, but that is Amanda Phillips. Now, Amanda is doing the best of the three that I mentioned. So I'm going to put all three of the links in the description. And I hope that you will vote for all three of these candidates if you haven't already. But Amanda is the wife of Derek Phillips. For those of you that are familiar with the Channel Island Time, she is in the top 10 across the nation in voting, which you might say, oh, well, she doesn't need to vote or whatever. But, apparently the voting's getting, a lot, hotter, and a lot more votes are coming in, everything else like that. So you can go up or down in these standings very quickly. Not only that, but if she finishes in the top 3, she has an opportunity to win. I think it's $25,000 for first place for her school, would be donated to her school. I think $15,000 is second place, and $10,000 is third place. So it's going pretty well for Amanda, like I said, but if we can get her those votes to make sure we get her across the finish line, get her a cruise that is very much deserving for all the hard work she does as a teacher and a mother, that would be awesome. And again, Rachel and Michelle, they are like right on the cusp of qualifying for the final round. Apparently, the top 200 finishers qualify for the final round, and from those top 200, the top 100 will receive a free cruise. So, definitely throw another vote in for them. Well, throw a vote. You can only vote one time, but I hope you will give a vote to them if you haven't already. And that's about all I have for you today, cruise team. I hope to come back with a better topic and a more enjoyable topic the next time. But again, I just want to get that out there, and I hope you all have a great day, or had a great day. And if it's evening when you're watching this, I hope you have a great day tomorrow. Until next time, cruise team, take care.
I just can't get away from a good time.